For 6.5 years, no, wait. For 18 months, she played the concerned mother, the comforting voice on the other end of the phone, the shoulder to cry on that came right on cue. She held her daughter as she sobbed, told her everything would be okay, promised her the harassment would stop. The police believed her. The school believed her. The whole town of Beale City believed her. But every time she put her daughter to bed, every time she whispered, "Good night, I love you," she'd walk to her bedroom, pick up her phone, and send another wave of messages designed to destroy that same daughter's life. Her missing peace of mind wasn't missing at all. It was right there in her mother's hands. And every tearful hug she gave, every promise of protection she made, was delivered whilst her finger hovered over the send button of another cruel text. If stories like this matter to you, if you believe the truth deserves to be told no matter how dark it gets, hit that subscribe button right now. Join the Crime 7 family and make sure these victims are never forgotten. Because Lauryn's story needs to be heard, and your subscription ensures we can keep telling stories that others won't. I have never done anything to hurt my daughter. I love Lauryn more than anything in this world. I would never, ever do something like this. One day the truth will come out. One way or another, this will all be proven, and in time everyone will see that I've done nothing wrong. Lauryn Licari was 14 years old when the messages started in early 2021. Born in Beale City, Michigan, a tiny rural community in Isabella County. She was a petite teenager, standing around 5 feet 3 inches with long brown hair and bright hazel eyes. She had a cheerleader's energy and a smile that friends described as infectious. Those who knew her described her as sweet, bubbly, and kind. She attended Beale City High School, a small school where everyone knew everyone. Social media was Lauryn's connection to the world beyond Beale City. She had Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. She would post photos from school events, cheerleading competitions, and time spent with her boyfriend Owen. They'd been dating since middle school. Her Instagram feed was filled with typical teenage content, selfies with friends, photos of her dog, quotes about love and life, and dozens of pictures with Owen. She loved animals deeply, particularly her family's golden retriever named Bailey. Her mother, Kendra, worked at Beale City High School as the girls' basketball coach and athletic director. Her father, John, worked in construction. They appeared to be a stable, loving, church-going family. Lauryn had typical teenage insecurities. While she appeared confident, she worried about fitting in, about being liked, about her relationship with Owen lasting. Her mother knew every one of these insecurities. Every fear. Every vulnerability. And she would use every single one as a weapon. Until someone decided to take all of that away from her. Someone who knew exactly how to hurt her. Someone who had spent 14 years learning every weakness. Someone who was supposed to protect her. Kendra Licari was 42 years old when she began her campaign of terror against her own daughter. She was an athletic woman, standing around 5 feet 6 inches with short blonde hair. She had an intense gaze that former students remembered well. Kendra was devoted to her job. She had been coaching girls basketball at Beale City High School for over a decade. Colleagues described her as dedicated, organized, and deeply involved in her athletes' lives. Parents trusted her with their daughters. Students looked up to her as a mentor. But beneath the surface was something darker. Friends and family members would later describe Kendra as controlling, particularly with her children. She wanted to know where they were at every moment. She monitored their social media obsessively. She had opinions about their friends, their activities, their choices. John worked long hours in construction, leaving Kendra as the primary parent during the day and evening. This gave her unlimited access to her children's lives, their devices, their passwords, their private conversations. There were signs. Kendra was obsessive about Lauryn's relationship with Owen. She made comments to other parents about them being too serious for their age. She expressed concern that Lauryn was distracted from academics and athletics. Rather than having normal parental conversations about boundaries, Kendra began to fixate on the relationship. She would check Lauryn's phone when she thought her daughter was asleep. She created fake social media accounts to monitor what Lauryn and Owen were posting. The COVID-19 pandemic created the perfect environment for her obsession to spiral. She began spending hours online, creating fake accounts, learning how to use VPNs and burner apps, researching ways to send anonymous messages. Beale City, Michigan, is a place that time forgot. Located in Isabella County, roughly 90 miles north of Lansing, it's one of those rural American towns where the population barely breaks 300 people. The school serves grades K through 12 in a single building complex. The town sits surrounded by farmland that stretches for miles. There's a main road that runs through town, a handful of churches, a gas station, and not much else. The nearest Walmart is a 20-minute drive away. In Beale City, everyone knows everyone. Your business is community knowledge within hours. Privacy doesn't exist. Beale City High School is the center of the community. The town is predominantly white, working class, and conservative. It's the kind of place where doors are left unlocked, where people genuinely believe bad things don't happen here. In 2020 and 2021, the COVID-19 pandemic hit Beale City. Schools went remote, activities were canceled, and social interaction moved almost entirely online. Screen time increased. The boundaries between online and offline life blurred completely. It was in this environment that Kendra found the perfect opportunity. With everyone at home, with devices constantly in use, she could hide in plain sight. She could torment her daughter from across the dinner table and no one would suspect a thing. It started in January 2021. The first messages seemed innocuous enough, a weird DM on Instagram from an account she didn't recognize. The message was simple but strange: "I know what you did." Lauryn deleted it and moved on. But then another message came. Then another. Different accounts, but similar messages. "Owen doesn't love you. You're not pretty enough for him. Everyone is laughing at you." By February 2021, the harassment had escalated. The messages were targeted, personal, and cruel. They mentioned private conversations she'd had with Owen. They referenced things that had happened at her house. They knew her insecurities, her fears. "You're worthless and everyone knows it. Owen is cheating on you. Why don't you just kill yourself? No one would miss you." The messages came at all hours. 2 a.m. 4 a.m. During school. During cheerleading practice. Lauryn's phone would buzz constantly, an endless stream of notifications. In March 2021, the harassment extended to Owen. He started receiving messages from fake accounts claiming Lauryn was cheating. Screenshots of alleged conversations were sent to him, conversations that Lauryn swore never happened but looked eerily real. The strain on their relationship was immediate. They fought. They almost broke up. The harassment had achieved exactly what it was designed to do: drive a wedge between them. By April 2021, Lauryn was falling apart. She stopped sleeping. She developed severe anxiety. Her grades dropped. She quit cheerleading. She stopped hanging out with friends. She confided in her mother, Kendra, who listened with what seemed like genuine concern. Kendra held her daughter while she cried. She promised they would figure out who it was. She even went with Lauryn to speak with school administrators. The school took it seriously. They sent emails to parents warning about cyberbullying. But no one came forward with information because the calls were coming from inside the house. In May 2021, Lauryn was receiving dozens of messages per day, sometimes over 100. The accounts had started posting about her publicly, spreading rumors. Lauryn stopped going to school. She stayed in her room with the lights off, phone clutched in her hand. Throughout all of this, Kendra was right there. She brought her food. She posted on Facebook asking for prayers. She played the role of concerned mother perfectly. But late at night, Kendra would lie in bed with her phone, planning the next day's messages, crafting the perfect cruelty. And in the morning, she would comfort her daughter about the messages she herself had sent hours before. By June 2021, Lauryn's family contacted the Isabella County Sheriff's Office. Deputy John Moore was assigned to the case. He quickly realized this wasn't typical teenage drama. The volume of messages, the sophistication of the fake accounts, it all pointed to someone with significant time and technical knowledge. But the investigation hit roadblocks. The fake accounts used VPNs to mask IP addresses. They were created with temporary email addresses. The usernames changed constantly. Deputy Moore reached out to Instagram's parent company, Meta, requesting account information through legal channels. The process was slow. By August 2021, the FBI's Cyber Crimes Division was involved. Special Agent Lisa Henderson was assigned as the lead investigator. The FBI subpoenaed detailed records from Instagram, Apple, Google, and various cellular service providers. What they found was puzzling. When they stripped away the VPNs and technical obfuscation, a pattern emerged. Many of the IP addresses kept circling back to Beale City. More specifically, to addresses very close to Lauryn's own home. In September 2021, the FBI began to seriously consider that the perpetrator was someone in Lauryn's immediate circle. They requested permission to monitor the Wi-Fi network at the Licari home. The family agreed immediately. Throughout all of this, Kendra remained cooperative. She spoke with investigators multiple times. She provided information about Lauryn's social circle. She suggested possible suspects. She seemed like every other concerned parent desperate for answers. Before we continue, I need you to do something. If this story is affecting you, leave a comment right now. Tell us where you're watching from. Your voice matters. By engaging with this video, you're helping YouTube show it to more people who need to hear Lauryn's story. Comment. Share. Subscribe. In October 2021, FBI digital forensic specialists made a breakthrough. Several of the accounts had been created and accessed from the same device registered to someone in the Licari household. But it wasn't Lauryn's phone, and it wasn't her father John's phone. It was Kendra's phone. The messages weren't just sent from Kendra's phone. They were sent at times when Kendra was the only one home. They were sent from her work computer at Beale City High School. They were sent from other devices Kendra had access to. And the timing was damning. On multiple occasions, messages had been sent to Lauryn at the exact same time that Kendra was posting on Facebook about praying for her daughter. By November 2021, the FBI had enough evidence to request a search warrant. On December 2, 2021, at 6 a.m., FBI agents and local sheriff's deputies executed the warrant. Kendra answered the door, confused and seemingly shocked. Over the next 6 hours, agents seized every electronic device in the home. Everything was bagged, tagged, and taken for forensic analysis. As FBI analysts went through Kendra's devices, a disturbing picture emerged. This was a calculated, sustained campaign of psychological warfare waged by a mother against her own daughter. Kendra had created at least 9 separate fake Instagram accounts over 2021. Each account had a different username, different profile information, sometimes different personas. But they were all created and operated by Kendra Licari. The digital forensics revealed that Kendra had researched extensively how to create untraceable accounts. Her browser history showed searches for how to send anonymous text messages, best VPN for privacy, how to create fake Instagram account. She had downloaded multiple apps designed to send anonymous texts, Text Now, Burner, Hushed. She had created numerous email addresses. She had learned how to screenshot and edit conversations to create fake evidence. The metadata showed that Kendra was often composing harassment messages late at night while lying in bed next to her husband. Timestamps revealed instances where she sent a cruel message to Lauryn, then walked down the hall to comfort her about the message she had just received. On one disturbing occasion in April 2021, Kendra's phone showed that she had sent a message telling Lauryn everyone would be better off if you were dead, at 2:37 a.m. Then at 2:41 a.m., just 4 minutes later, Lauryn had knocked on her parents' bedroom door, crying and having a panic attack. Within minutes of telling her daughter to die, Kendra was holding that same daughter, stroking her hair, telling her everything would be okay. Perhaps most damning was what investigators found when they analyzed Kendra's search history alongside the content of the messages. On March 15, 2021, Kendra's Google search history showed, "Most hurtful things to say to a teenage girl." That same evening, Lauryn received a message that said, "Your own mother probably wishes you were never born." Investigators also discovered that Kendra had been accessing Lauryn's phone without her knowledge. She knew Lauryn's passcode and would read through her private conversations. She was mining these conversations for information to use in the harassment. In May 2021, Lauryn had confided to her best friend Megan that she was insecure about her body. Within days, she received an anonymous message using specific phrases that only someone who had read their conversation would know. The psychological profile that emerged was deeply disturbing. Kendra loved Lauryn, or believed she did, in a possessive, controlling way that had become completely twisted. Forensic psychologist Dr. Patricia Summers explained that Kendra exhibited classic signs of an enmeshed, controlling parent who couldn't accept her child's growing independence. She saw Lauryn's relationship with Owen as a threat to her control. By creating chaos, by making Lauryn feel unsafe, Kendra was attempting to make Lauryn more dependent on her. The harassment wasn't about cruelty for cruelty's sake. It was a control mechanism. Every message was designed to break up Lauryn and Owen, isolate Lauryn from friends, damage Lauryn's self-esteem. Kendra wanted Lauryn to need her. On January 12, 2022, FBI agent Lisa Henderson and Deputy John Moore arrived at Beale City High School. Agent Henderson knocked. "Kendra Licari? I'm Special Agent Henderson with the FBI. We need you to come with us." "What? Why? What's going on?" "We'll discuss that at the sheriff's office. You're being arrested for stalking a minor, obstruction of justice, and using a computer to commit a crime." Students and staff watched as Kendra was led out in handcuffs. The beloved basketball coach, the respected athletic director, was being arrested for terrorizing her own daughter. News spread through Beale City within hours. Parents who had trusted Kendra felt betrayed. Students who had looked up to her felt confused. And Lauryn had to process the devastating reality that it had been her mother all along. At the Isabella County Jail, Kendra was processed. She was read her Miranda rights. She said yes to an attorney, so formal interrogation stopped. But that didn't stop her from talking. "This is all a mistake," she told the booking officer. "They think I did something to my daughter, but I would never hurt Lauryn. I love her. I'm her mother." On January 14, 2022, Kendra appeared in Isabella County District Court for her arraignment. She wore an orange jumpsuit and looked exhausted. Judge Philip Rogers read the charges. "How do you plead?" Judge Rogers asked. "Not guilty," Kendra said, her voice barely above a whisper. Her attorney argued for bond. But Assistant Prosecutor Zachary Stempine argued strongly against it. "Your Honor, this defendant spent over 18 months systematically terrorizing her own daughter. She's shown a pattern of deception and manipulation. She's a danger to her own family." Judge Rogers set bond at $250,000. Kendra's family couldn't afford it. She remained in custody. Over the following weeks, as discovery proceeded, Kendra's attorney was given access to the mountain of evidence. It was overwhelming. Forensic reports ran hundreds of pages. Screenshots numbered in the thousands. In February 2022, her attorney met with Kendra. "The evidence against you is extensive. If we go to trial, you will be convicted. We need to start thinking about a plea agreement." But Kendra wasn't ready to accept responsibility. She insisted she wanted to fight the charges. Months passed. Kendra remained in jail. Her relationship with her children, particularly Lauryn, was shattered. Lauryn refused to see her mother. By late 2022, facing decades in prison if convicted at trial, Kendra finally began to consider a plea agreement. The deal: plead guilty to stalking a minor and one count of using a computer to commit a crime, and prosecutors would recommend 19 months to 5 years. In November 2023, nearly 2 years after her arrest, Kendra made a decision. On November 30, 2023, she appeared in court and changed her plea to guilty. Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you are admitting that you committed these crimes? Judge Mark Duthie asked. Yes, Kendra said. Do you wish to make a statement? I made mistakes. I never meant to hurt Lauryn. I love my daughter. Everything I did, I thought I was protecting her. I know now that I was wrong, and I'm sorry. Even in her guilty plea, she tried to frame her actions as misguided protection rather than calculated abuse. The sentencing hearing was scheduled for December 6, 2023. The sentencing hearing drew significant media attention. Local news crews and reporters crowded the Isabella County Courthouse on that cold December morning. Inside Courtroom 2, Judge Mark Duthie reviewed the pre-sentencing report. Kendra sat at the defense table looking smaller and older than she had in her coaching days. The courtroom was packed. Lauryn was there, now 17 years old, sitting with her father John. Owen and his parents were present. Members of the Beale City community filled the gallery. Assistant Prosecutor Zachary Stempine addressed the court first. He methodically laid out the scope of Kendra's crimes: 9 fake accounts, thousands of messages, 18 months of terror. Your Honor, this isn't a case of a parent making a mistake. This is calculated, sustained psychological abuse. Kendra Licari weaponized her knowledge of her daughter's vulnerabilities. She violated the most fundamental trust, the trust between a mother and child. She did this thousands of times over more than a year. And she showed no remorse until she was caught. Stempine paused. The harm done to Lauryn cannot be measured in months or years. It will affect her for the rest of her life. The defendant didn't just harass her daughter, she destroyed her daughter's ability to trust. Judge Duthie called for victim impact statements. Lauryn stood first, her hands shaking. I don't know where to start, Lauryn began. My mom was my best friend. When the messages started, she was the first person I went to. She held me while I cried. She promised we'd figure out who was doing this. Lauryn's voice cracked. And the whole time, it was her. She wiped tears from her face. I stopped eating. I stopped sleeping. I had panic attacks so bad I couldn't breathe. I quit cheerleading. I almost lost Owen. I lost friends. Lauryn looked directly at her mother. You were supposed to protect me. You were supposed to be the one person I could always trust. Instead, you became the person I should have been protected from. Every night when you tucked me into bed, you had just finished sending me messages telling me to kill myself. How do I ever trust anyone again? She took a deep breath. People keep asking me if I'll ever forgive you. I don't know. Part of me still loves you because you're my mom. But another part of me can never forget what you did. You tortured me for 18 months. You watched me fall apart and you kept going. And even now, I'm not sure you really understand what you did to me. Lauryn sat down, sobbing. The courtroom was silent except for people quietly crying. Owen stood next. Mrs. Licari, I trusted you. When you coached us, I thought you cared about me. Instead, you tried to destroy my relationship with your daughter. You sent me messages claiming Lauryn was cheating. You made me doubt the person I love most. He paused. Because of you, I have trust issues now. I second-guess people's intentions. That's what you did. You didn't just hurt Lauryn, you hurt everyone around her. Owen's mother, Jennifer, also spoke. As a mother, I cannot comprehend what Kendra did. When my son came to me crying, my first instinct was to protect him. I never imagined it was another mother. Kendra, you betrayed every parent in this community who believed in you. After the victim's statements, Kendra's attorney spoke on her behalf. He argued for leniency, noting no prior criminal record and mental health treatment. Your Honor, Mrs. Licari recognizes the harm she caused. She's been diagnosed with mental health conditions that contributed to her behavior. She needs treatment, not just punishment. She's already lost everything: her job, her reputation, her family, her place in the community. Finally, Kendra was given the opportunity to speak. She stood, hands clasped. I know that nothing I say can fix what I did. I know I'm sorry isn't enough. But I need to say it. Lauryn, I'm so sorry. Owen, I'm sorry. To everyone I hurt, I'm deeply sorry. She took a breath, tears streaming. I love my daughter. I know that's hard to believe, but it's true. I was so afraid of losing her. When she started dating Owen, when she started growing up, I felt like I was losing control. Instead of accepting that, I panicked. Kendra's voice dropped. I thought if I could make her doubt her relationship, if I could make her feel like she needed me more, then she wouldn't leave. I wasn't trying to hurt her. I was trying to keep her close. But I see now that what I did was the worst kind of hurt. She looked toward Lauryn, though Lauryn wouldn't meet her eyes. I know I've destroyed our family. I know you may never speak to me again. But I hope someday you might understand that I was sick. That even though I hurt you in the worst possible way, I never stopped loving you. I just didn't know how to love you in a healthy way. Kendra sat down, burying her face in her hands. Judge Duthie took a long moment before speaking. Ms. Licari, I've been a judge for over 20 years. This is one of the most disturbing cases I've ever presided over. Not because of physical violence, but because of the profound betrayal at its core. He continued, you didn't just harass your daughter. You orchestrated a campaign designed to psychologically destroy her. You studied her vulnerabilities and exploited them. You created an environment where she felt unsafe everywhere. And then you comforted her for the pain you caused. You held her while she cried about messages you had sent. You promised to protect her from a threat that was you. Judge Duthie referenced the psychological reports. I understand you have mental health issues. But mental illness doesn't excuse what you did. It doesn't justify 18 months of calculated abuse. You had countless opportunities to stop, to get help. Instead, you chose to continue hurting your daughter every single day. He looked directly at Kendra. You violated your role as a mother, which is the most sacred role in our society. You violated your position as an educator. You violated the trust of everyone who knew you. And most importantly, you violated your daughter's right to feel safe and loved. Judge Duthie announced his sentence. Kendra Licari, you are hereby sentenced to 19 months to 5 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections. You will serve a minimum of 19 months before being eligible for parole. Additionally, you are ordered to have no contact with Lauryn Licari or Owen unless they specifically request contact. You are prohibited from having unsupervised contact with any minors. You will undergo intensive mental health treatment. And you will register with any applicable offender registries as required by law. He banged his gavel. Court is adjourned. As deputies led Kendra away in handcuffs, she glanced back at Lauryn one last time. Lauryn looked away, unable to meet her mother's eyes. That image would become the defining moment of the case. Outside the courthouse, Lauryn spoke briefly to reporters. I'm glad this part is over. My mom is going to prison, and that's hard to say because she's still my mom. But she hurt me in ways I'm still trying to understand. I hope she gets the help she needs. But I don't know if I'll ever be able to have her in my life again. Owen stood beside her, holding her hand. We're moving forward. That's all we can do. The Kendra Licari case forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about family, trust, and the masks people wear. In small-town Beale City, how does a respected coach become a predator to her own child? Kendra wasn't a monster in the traditional sense. She didn't physically abuse Lauryn. By many external measures, she was an attentive parent. But beneath that facade was something insidious, a desperate need for control masked as love. Forensic psychologist Dr. Patricia Summers explained that parents like Kendra often view their children not as separate individuals but as extensions of themselves. When Lauryn began developing her own identity, her own relationships, Kendra experienced that as a loss of control. Rather than accepting this as normal adolescent development, she saw it as a threat. This type of psychological abuse is particularly damaging because it's invisible. There are no bruises to photograph. The wounds are internal, written in anxiety disorders and trust issues that can last a lifetime. Lauren's therapist, Dr. Rebecca Klein, described the unique trauma of parental betrayal. When a stranger hurts you, you can say, "That person is bad," and maintain your sense that good people exist. When your parent hurts you, especially in such a calculated way, it damages your ability to trust anyone. If your own mother can torture you while pretending to love you, how can you believe anyone's expressions of care are genuine? The case also highlights the dark side of technology. 20 years ago, Kendra's obsessive need to control would have manifested differently. But social media and smartphones gave her unprecedented access to Lauren's private world and tools to manipulate it. She could read Lauren's direct messages. She could see who she was talking to, what she was saying, what her insecurities were. Then she could use that information to craft harassment that felt deeply personal because it was. The technology didn't create Kendra's psychological issues, but it provided the perfect vehicle for acting on them. For the Beale City community, the case shattered assumptions about safety and trust. Kendra wasn't an outsider. She was one of them. She coached their daughters. She attended their churches. If someone like Kendra could be hiding such darkness, who else might be? The case raised awareness about cyberstalking and investigation difficulties. Local law enforcement agencies received training on digital forensics following the case. The FBI used it as a teaching example. But perhaps the most important reflection is about the nature of abuse itself. Society has specific images of what abusers look like. Kendra fit none of those stereotypes. She was educated, employed, apparently stable. She didn't look like a monster because monsters don't always look monstrous. This case reminds us that abuse can wear a loving face. It can hide behind concern and care. It can speak in soft voices and give warm hugs while simultaneously destroying lives. Kendra was transferred to the Women's Huron Valley Correctional Facility to serve her sentence. She'll be eligible for parole after 19 months. When she's eventually released, she'll return to a world that knows exactly what she did. She can never work with children again. She can never return to Beale City. Her husband John divorced her. He was granted full custody of their younger children, who have chosen not to maintain contact with their mother. The family home was sold. The life Kendra built over decades was completely dismantled. For Lauren, the journey of healing continues. She graduated from Beale City High School in 2024 and attended Michigan State University. She's studying psychology, hoping to eventually help other victims of cyberstalking and parental abuse. "What happened to me was horrible," Lauren said. "But if sharing my story helps even one person recognize that they're being abused, or gives another victim the courage to speak up, then maybe something good can come from all this pain." Owen remained by her side. They're still together, their relationship having survived a test that would have destroyed most couples. "We know each other in a way most people never will," Owen said. "We've been through hell together. That either breaks you or makes you stronger. For us, it made us stronger." The case has had broader implications. Michigan legislators introduced Lauren's Law in 2024, which increased penalties for cyberstalking when the perpetrator is in a position of trust over the victim. The law passed with bipartisan support. The FBI has used the case in training programs. Mental health professionals have studied it to better understand controlling parents and the trauma caused by parental cyberstalking. But perhaps the most important legacy is the conversation the case started about parental control in the digital age. How much monitoring is appropriate? When does concern cross the line into invasion of privacy? These aren't easy questions, and the Licari case doesn't provide simple answers. But it does provide a stark warning: love without respect for boundaries isn't really love. Protection without trust isn't really protection. And control disguised as care is still abuse. If you've watched this far, you're not just a viewer, you're part of something important. You're part of a community that refuses to let victims be forgotten. Before you click away, do 3 things. First, subscribe to Crime 7 if you haven't already. Second, leave a comment telling us what you think about this case. Your story might help someone else feel less alone. Third, share this video. Someone might be living through something similar and not realize they're being abused. Your share could save a life. In the end, the case wasn't just about crime. It was about conscience, about the line between love and control, about the courage it takes to survive when the person meant to protect you becomes your greatest threat. This is Crime 7. Real crimes. Hidden truths. Human stories. The truth never dies in the dark. Not on our watch. Thank you for being part of the Crime 7 family. Subscribe. Comment. Share. And we'll see you in the next investigation.